What is up, Rave Raid fam? Welcome to another episode of the Rave Raid podcast with your host, Tyler Hardy. And as always, just wanted to take a moment to express my overwhelming love and gratitude for each and every single one of you guys who tune in on a daily and weekly basis to hear all things Rave Raid, self-improvement, psychedelics, biohacking, everything that's important to us and myself that I hope will resonate for you, so then that way we can help you become the most self-actualized and self-love version of yourself possible, because that's what our main mission here is at Rave Raid, is to help you become whatever it is that you're meant to be and express your unique gift with the world, so then that way you can share your gift with the world and we can create a happy, loving, vibrant, thriving world for all. So hopping into today's episode, I want to talk about something that's really, really important to me. And I think it should be really, really important to you because it's the key to the universe. It's the key to creation. It's the key to everything that's around us. And what I'm going to be talking about today is the conscious and subconscious mind, and my personal experiences with the subconscious mind and my conscious mind, and how I've really spent a lot of time and due diligence in really creating a better home inside of myself, because it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter where you live, it doesn't matter who you're around and what you're experiencing. If you can create a beautiful home inside of yourself that you're happy inside of, that you're grateful to be inside of, that you want to be, living and expressing your gifts inside of, it's going to be one of those things where, you're going to live a lot higher quality of life, because the things that are outside of you do not dictate the internal state that you feel and the level of gratitude and love that you feel. And more often than not, when you're living in that state, you're going to be drawing in experiences that reflect that anyways. So the likelihood of you experiencing, low vibrational things or things that are incongruent or out of alignment are going to be really low from then on there. But what I'm getting at here is it's really important to know that, creating and cultivating that beautiful home inside of yourself full of love and gratitude and radical compassion for yourself and others is what's really going to help you create the life that you're not going to have any regrets inside of when your time comes. And so hopping into it, the subconscious and conscious mind, so we have the objective and the subjective mind. And so essentially the subconscious mind, for those of you guys that don't know, is basically like a record keeper of the past and experiences and belief systems. So as information comes in from wherever it comes in from the external environment that we live in, as it comes in and is imposed upon our mind, our conscious mind's job and duty and responsibility is to use this discernment to create autosuggestion as to what we should allow in and what we should reject as truth. The difference is, or the problem is that the subconscious mind doesn't take jokes, it doesn't discern, it just takes any information that it perceives as truth and accepts it as truth. That's why we see a lot of misinformation and people who are super confused and scatterbrained and disassociated from their reality, because they believe things that aren't necessarily true and correct information. And so what ends up happening is we take in all this information, we expose our subconscious minds, we expose them at music festivals, we expose them when we're out and about shopping, we expose them when we're watching TV or the news or whatever it is that we're exposing ourselves to, or social media, whatever's being fed to us from there. And so whatever that is, we're getting this information, and if you're not using discernment, then you're allowing all this information to come in. And that can be things that are less than ideal: fear, anxiety, worry, depression, darkness, just as much as allowing light and happiness and joy and fulfillment in, because it doesn't discern between the two. It just accepts everything that it's receiving as truth. And so it's important for you to know that you need to have a high level of discernment with your conscious mind. So the difference between the subconscious and the conscious is that the conscious is the gatekeeper. It's the captain of the ship. And so it's one of those things where it steers and directs where the subconscious mind goes. And the subconscious mind is essentially like, the crew below deck that is, changing the speed of the engine and, taking care of everything internally and giving it the power to move. So that's the way that I equate it. And that seems to be, pretty effective. And so basically what I'm getting at here is that, if you're not discerning, if you're not using your higher faculties to accept what it is that feels true to you or reject what does not feel true to you, then you're probably going to have a lot of things in your subconscious mind that aren't conducive for your highest good. They're not conducive for, the greatest outcomes for yourself and the people that are around you and your happiness and fulfillment and doing the things that you want to do with your life. And so, in my personal experience, due to a combination of things as I've gone back and really reflected on it, from trauma and disassociating, from having, that fight or flight response and checking out on myself and checking out on my life in a lot of ways, it left me wide open for being highly impressionable towards information, fear, worry, collective energy, everything that you expose yourself to on a daily basis. And it caused my, subconscious mind to pick up a lot of habits and traits and belief systems and tendencies that were not suiting my highest good. And as a result of that, we're creating destructive patterns in my day-to-day life. And over the years, it really took a toll on me and started to really break me down on a physical, mental, and spiritual level. And it really, reflected itself, in my experience, because it's always a reflection of our internal state, always. And so, by not using that discernment, and believing that, people wouldn't share the truth always, right? Because I share the truth. That's my mission and my purpose. And I'm sure that's your, standard mode of operating as well, is to be kind and gentle and always share the truth. Not everyone on this planet does that. Not everyone on this planet has your best interest in mind. And so it's really important for you to take the time to be very discerning of where you're getting your information, if it resonates as truth for you, and then allowing it to come in through your subconscious and become a belief system, a pattern, or a habit. And this comes down to so many things. That's why I don't joke around about like my health. I think one common thing that I hear people say a lot is, "Oh, dude, that's so sick." Using conscious language. When you say that's so sick, like, I don't want anything in my life that is sick or unhealthy or not well, and the mind doesn't differentiate, the context of the word. And so it's important to know that you're very conscious with your language, because it does pass through the subconscious. And the inverse is the truth as well, is that when we're working with the subconscious, passing quality, healthy, uplifting, constructive information is going to help you find those things in your reality. Focusing on your health, passing down to your subconscious, saying, I am the healthiest I've ever been. I am, this weight, I am this body fat percentage, I am, vibrant, I am healthy. And you start taking on that belief system, the subconscious accepts it as truth, and then it's going to find the foods, it's going to find the exercise that you enjoy, it's going to find, the experiences, it's going to find the amount of rest, it's going to do all the things that you need it to do. So then that way you get that result, because the mind always proves itself right, you guys. The mind will always prove itself right. Always. I can speak on this. I can give you guys numerous examples in my life where it proved itself right. When I had a weak victim mindset, how I drew in people and experiences and things that validated that belief system, that validated what I allowed to pass through into my subconscious mind. I was creating from that place, and I was getting less than ideal outcomes. And now, the reframe, the change, the thing that you can do, knowing that no matter where you're at right now, you can make that change and you can always improve it. We can always be better. We can always, find ways to optimize our quality of existence. And we do that through meditation, because if we do not have awareness of the conscious and subconscious mind, we are unable to make the change, because there's a difference in the two. Even though they're still one and the same and they still operate in the same sphere, which we'll talk about later, there is a difference. And knowing that, you are in control of your mind, you are in control of your decisions, you are in control of the outcomes of your life, you are in control of the people you spend your time around, you are in control of the work that you do, you are in control of the quality and the ways that you show up, you're in control of all of these things. And a lot of us are led to believe that we're not in control of these things, that we are the byproduct of external circumstance. And that is not the truth. That is so far from the truth. And I want you to know that at any given moment, you can make those changes. And it comes through repetition. So these are the actionable steps that I've done that have helped me in making that shift from a more victim subconscious mind, not in control. My thoughts would be racing all over the place. I would be easily susceptible and programmable to, outside influence and people and things, and switch that to, my happiness and my internal state is not contingent upon anything that's going on outside of me. It all originates from me. It all originates from within. And these are the things that I've done that have really helped cultivate that. And if you do these things consistently and really work on the mind, it's going to make things go a lot quicker for you. And you're going to start getting more of the results and the experiences and the overall fulfillment and happiness that I know that you're worthy of and that you deserve. And so the big thing is obviously a meditative practice, because if we're not able to consciously see the inner workings of our mind and how we limit ourselves and how we keep ourselves from opportunities or whatever it is that you're experiencing in your life, if it be unworthiness or, a belief system that you're not worthy of being loved, or, you get taken advantage of, or whatever it is that you're experiencing in your unique experience, if we're not aware of the mechanisms in which that operates inside of our subconscious mind, then we can't make the change. I'll give you an example. In a lot of ways, due to a feeling of unworthiness, I would work really, really, really hard to receive love and validation. And so it created this nasty feedback loop in my life, which subconsciously was playing out. And then when I would get to the point where the work was starting to pay off, I would create some sort of fictitious barrier or fictitious obstacle to make things harder in my mind than they needed to be, because I didn't feel worthy of what it was that was coming in and that what I was, about to receive. And so I've worked really, really a lot on, I wouldn't say hard because it hasn't been hard, it's been easy and effortless. I've been working a lot to really hone that in and say, okay, like I am worthy of everything that's coming in. I am worthy of the health that I'm receiving. I am worthy of the love and the people that are in my life now. I am worthy of, my happiness. I'm worthy of my joy and contentment. I am worthy of all the things going right in RAVER AIDE. I'm worthy of, beautiful experiences with people and everything that we're creating. And so it's like opening myself up to that potential. And a lot of that's come down to the inner workings, because the more work we do internally, the less we have to do outside of ourselves. And I will say that again, the more work that we do internally, the less we have to do outside of ourselves. It becomes more effortless and easy and flowful because we see the path more clearly. And so really focusing on the subconscious mind through your meditative practice, when you start noticing yourself drift off, or you start noticing yourself drift off right before you go to sleep, and sometimes your thoughts are just running like crazy and they don't make any sense, a lot of that's your subconscious mind. A lot of the information that we take in. And so adopting that meditative practice and really getting a high level of awareness. And it's, I've been avidly meditating for 4 years now, and I probably have logged 500 to 1,000 hours if I had to take like a rough guess or an estimate. And so it's one of those things where, it takes repetition, it takes time. And so once we become more aware of how the subconscious and conscious mind are working, we start seeing how the subconscious mind's old belief systems and patterns keep us stuck in predictable things that are not suiting our highest good. We can start using affirmation and repetition to make change. And so thinking about it now, like depending on how old you are and if this is a new concept, like think about how much information. I want you to take a moment, have a self-audit here. Take a breath and really drop in and think about like how much information has passed through to you over the course of, however many years you've been alive, and how many other people's negative belief systems and, the world, the state of the world and, everything that's going on, how that's made an impact on you, and carried out in your life and your manifestation and your creation, and really start to get clear on, what it is that is keeping you from where you want to go. And when that happens, we can start identifying those things. And as we start meditating, as we start focusing on expansion and really dropping into reconditioning our body into knowing that we're more and that we're everything, we're the whole experience, you start to see how absurd it was that you were keeping yourself in a stuck program or a box. of limited potential. You start seeing how absurd it is that you had a belief system that you weren't worthy of love or money or the job of your dreams or healthy relationships or whatever it is that you kept yourself in a belief system of limited potential. And you start seeing how absurd that is. And as we keep expanding, as we keep growing, as we do things like breath work, as we start pushing our boundaries and start becoming more than what we previously were, we start seeing like how you were the one who was keeping you from all that potential, and that the origination point, you, was drawing in the experiences that were validating that limitation. And when we get to that point where we see that clearly and we know that we're everything through the law of totality, we get to a place where we know, we feel, we embody, we step into that higher potential for ourselves. And as a result of that, we're able to break limiting patterns and beliefs that have gotten us subpar results, and it allows us to become more and more. And so repetition through journaling. I have numerous journals. I probably go through like one journal every 6 weeks, I would say, about 200 pages. And I'm writing my goals and affirmations numerous times throughout the day. If I start feeling myself slip, if I start seeing myself, become distracted or not, focusing, channeling my energy towards what it is that actually matters to me, through all the stuff we talked about in previous podcasts, like finding clarity on what it is that we want, then I go and write in my journal. I go write my 5 major goals down, and then I write down affirmations, because it's going to take repetition for it to become truth. And I'll share a little tip and trick for you real quick. When you're meditating and you're working on, like affirmations, for example, like let's say the example is like, I want to be 175 pounds, and you're 250, right? Or whatever the number is. It doesn't really matter. It's all arbitrary things here. But when you're doing that, you say in present tense, I am 175 pounds. Now, the subconscious mind is not going to argue with you. The conscious mind will, because it'll acknowledge the fact that you aren't that, right? So the trick is, what you do is you say, I am 175 pounds. My name is whatever your name is. The reason that we do that, and the reason that I suggest that, is because if you immediately follow up a statement that could be, argued against with the subconscious or the conscious mind, or negated, and you immediately follow it up with a truthful statement that it knows is truth, which is your name, then it's not going to have the ability to refute the information. So if you say it quick enough, I'm 175 pounds, my name is Tyler Hardy, the mind doesn't even have the opportunity to stop and challenge what you said. After enough repetition, it will believe that is true, that you are 175 pounds. Then after a while, with enough repetition, it starts to look for the things and the incongruencies and the things that need to change, because the mind always proves itself right. So what that means for you is you're going to find, a healthier diet. You're going to find, a coach or a trainer or whatever you need, or support that you need. You're going to start, passing on the things that are keeping you stuck where you're at. And you're going to go, no, I don't want that unhealthy food. I don't want to have, that thing that's going to make me feel inflamed and shitty and, detract from where I'm heading, because you start to have this separation of what your mind believes is correct and what is actually happening. And that incongruency is what we get to work on. That's our job and responsibility, is to bridge that gap of incongruency and find congruency in what it is that we're doing to actually make that goal a reality. So when I say that that I'm going to make RAVER AIDE into a 10-figure company, I truthfully believe that with my heart and soul, because I know that we have a mission and values that this world really needs right now. And it's one of those things where I have to ask myself, is my actions on a daily basis congruent with what it is that we're creating here and what it is that I'm desiring, And so I audit myself on a daily basis, and I focus on the things that I feel and believe, are going to actually take us to that place, because I know the type of impact that we're going to make as a byproduct of that. That's just a measuring stick for the success, is what I would say. But the values and the mission are the most important thing that are going to help us get to that level. And so going back to it, repetition is super, super important here. I write those top 5 goals probably 3-4 times a day sometimes. And I do that because it takes repetition. Because how much information have you taken in over the course of your life? How much incorrect information have you taken in as truth? How much correct information have you taken in and negated it? A big thing that I struggled with for a while is like I refuted all information for a long time because of traumas and people taking it. I allowed people to take advantage of me and my kindness and all the things that I was. And it caused me to pass on a lot of information that probably would have been helpful and not listening and being really stuck in ego. And so, it's your job to find that discernment and choose what it is that you're allowing to come in to your human experience and into your mind. It's like a seed that you're planting. We can plant seeds on a daily basis and they're going to take some time to grow, but when they grow, you'll see the power of how everything originates from inside of here. Everything originates in your life, comes from here, comes from your mind, it comes from your heart, it comes from your soul, it comes from you. And so if you're not happy with the results that you're getting in your life, then the work begins internally and it starts internally and reflects outward. And like I mentioned before, the more work you do internally, the less you have to do externally. It all comes from within. It's not outside of you. And knowing that you're whole and complete as you are is the catalyst for that change. The catalyst for choice. And seeing like, oh, well, I've been this, I've been the less desirable things, I've been the lower vibrational things, I'm everything, so I'm going to do the things that are of highest vibration for the greatest good for myself and for others. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to live in heart-centeredness, which I think a lot of people don't do because we're in such a mind-dominated, egotistical, world at that time and, place. And so, really knowing, like I was mentioning earlier, coming back and realizing, this is something that I've realized over the past couple days is, early on when you're doing a lot of the corrective work with your subconscious mind, it's like you're the parent, and subconscious mind's the little child and the conscious mind is catching the subconscious engaging in, arguments or lower vibrational activities or eating shitty food or not taking your supplements or not going to the gym or not valuing and respecting your boundaries and time with others and things like that. And so you have to correct it, and you get to correct it. That higher power, that higher self that people love to talk about, treat that as your conscious mind is like, no, we're not doing that. We're not going to go engage in that behavior, and we're not going to subject ourselves to that kind of exposure of, negative lower vibrational frequency. I'm going to respect my boundaries. I'm going to respect my health. I'm going to take good care of my body. I'm going to take good care of my mind. I'm going to make sure that I get to sleep at a good time. I'm going to make sure that, I work hard and continue to develop, do all those things. And it's like reparenting yourself essentially. And I think a lot of people that are around my age and younger and older really need to focus on reparenting themselves and teaching themselves the right thing about how life actually really works and how to get the most out of the human experience, because our parents weren't taught anything about the mind and the subconscious mind and the power that it has. And so it's your job to teach yourself the valuable life lessons and the things that are actually going to help you live a high quality experience. And so what I was getting at here is that for a while you're going to be parenting yourself, you're going to slip, there's going to be things that happen, and it's your job to keep recorrecting, getting back to that clarity, and then finding congruence in your action and keep doing it and doing it and doing it. If you stumble and fall, that's completely fine. You get up and you keep going and you keep pushing and you keep going and you make it happen until it becomes so incongruent for you to do things that are not for your highest good that you completely avoid those things and you only focus on things that are constructive and for your highest good. And when you do that, you get to a place where you start seeing that the conscious and subconscious mind actually work together, because it's the one and the same. It's the same thing. It's not just this separated thing where it's like there's a subconscious mind and a conscious mind. It's the same mind. It's working together in congruency and in synchronization with itself. When you start to realize that, it's all for the highest good. My conscious mind gives direction and command to my subconscious mind to carry out the things that I know what would be best for me, what would be best for my health, my well-being, my mental clarity, the people that I'm around, my relationships, my work, my mission, my purpose, my financial health, my spiritual health. All of these different things, they work together. And that's when you really start becoming superhuman in your essence, because you start seeing like, that's what I desire in my life. Now I'm going to spend the time to essentially download and program my mind towards looking for the thing that brings that into my reality, those experiences and those people that draw in more of what it is that I desire. And so that's what, where you'll get to. And then it becomes effortless when we get down to the subconscious level, when we know that we need to heal, when we see something that would, help us become better and better. It's about tuning your mind into what it is that's going to help you become the greatest, most self-loved and self-actualized version of yourself. When we do that, when we tune into it like a tuning fork, when we get into that frequency, we start to find those things. We start to find the people that have the information that are actually going to help us get where we want to go. We're going to be of more service to others. We're going to be more of service to ourselves, most importantly. And we're going to be able to carry out and compound those wins on a daily basis and become, extraordinary at whatever it is that we decide to, pursue in our life. And that's in all areas. This isn't just about work. This isn't just about, being a spouse or a partner or a parent. This is about all of it. It's about being the best at every single thing that you engage in on a daily basis. And so, just knowing that when we look at the conscious and subconscious mind separately, and like they're against one another, and they're like there's this battle inside of our mind, then what that is going to do is it's going to create duality. It's going to create separation. It's going to create incoherence in our heart and mind. And as a result of that, we're going to get a lot of that in our, life experience reflecting back to us. Whereas if we really synchronize the creation, if we synchronize our conscious and subconscious mind to be working together and saying, hey, I'm going to guide you where it is that we need to go. You need to carry out the actions and hold the belief systems to know that it's possible. So then that way we can draw that experience in. That's when you're going to start seeing a lot of lasting change in your life that's going to be really, really high quality. You're going to draw on people and experiences and things and money and whatever it is that you're looking for and desiring in quantities and quality that you couldn't even imagine. It's all a result of what we believe in here and what we feel inside of ourselves. And so, again, meditative practice, repetition through journaling, slowing down, and really giving yourself time to observe your entire reality is going to help you. Like I mentioned in a previous podcast, calmness is the superpower. Being able to quiet the mind and observe reality from a healthy place is going to give you a leg up compared to most of the world, because the fact that most people live in this go, ego-driven, mind-oriented, heart-disconnected reality. And that's what's getting us a lot of the results we're getting as a collective. That's the reflection we're getting back as a collective. And so the more people we can get to the point of what I'm talking about, the more we're going to start seeing people who are actually doing things for purpose, for cause, to make the world a better place and to really help all of us succeed and thrive, because there's enough room on this planet for every single one of us to have whatever it is that we desire. There's infinite space and potential for all of us to be happy and to thrive and be abundant and joyful. It's just our responsibility to synchronize the conscious and subconscious mind and get out of our own way in a lot of cases and become what it is that I know that you're capable of becoming. So I'm going to wrap up today's episode, you guys. I hope that you really found a lot of valuable insight and information here. And it's most important to know, especially since we're talking about the subconscious and conscious mind, is for you to ask yourself, if this information, resonates for you, are you going to allow it to come into your subconscious mind? Are you going to allow these seeds to come in and turn into something and grow into something, into a belief system, into something that's healthier and positive for you? And most importantly, what I want you to know is that you get to decide that. It's not me telling you that you need to, take this information and use it. What I want for you, and this is what's different about, my viewpoints compared to a lot of coaches and other people out there, is I want you to decide. I want you to make that discernment and that decision as to the things that I said on this podcast today and in previous episodes. If it's something that you want to allow to come into your subconscious mind, because consciously choosing what we allow in and not in is what's going to help you choose what it is that you get out of your human experience. So if this resonated for you, if this made sense, if this is something that you think can benefit your life, then consciously take a moment to allow it to come in. Say, I'm allowing of this information to come in to help me become the best version of myself, to help me actualize what it is that I'm capable of becoming. And from there, it's going to put us in a place where that information will actually hold and stay true. And then your job is to integrate it and look for the experiences that'll help you become more congruent with the information that you just took in and the information that you just accepted as truth. Does that make sense? And I hope that you guys really did find some good value in this. I do this because I love you. I do this because I want the world to be a better place. And there's no ulterior motive or agenda here. I do this because I genuinely like doing it. And I want to help you become the best version of yourself. And, we appreciate your support here at RAVER AIDE. And so if there's anything that I can do or anything you want me to talk about, be sure just to shoot me an email at hello@drinkravereaide.com. I'm happy to answer any questions or do anything, that would be beneficial for you. I get a lot of, emails about, different topics and stuff like that, and it allows me to connect with you. So if you found any value in this, I think the only thing that I could really ask is that you just share it on your social media, share it with somebody who might benefit from this information, because I see where the state of the world's at. And I know that a lot of people really could use the help and the support and the assistance at this, particular time. And, that's what I'm here to do. So be sure to check us out at www.drinkravereaide.com. And the last thing that I do have to say is that we are running really low inventory on the Liddy Lemonade. We're planning on going back into production here soon. We're just getting all the details lined up at this time. So there might be a little bit of a lag time. We probably will be sold out for a little bit. But we are working diligently to make sure that we're always in stock for you guys and taking good care of each and every one of you. We are making final iteration changes to the Liddy Lemonade. I do believe that we're going to have it completely perfected up to the standard quality that we want. After working with all the different outside providers that we have, learning their machinery, learning how to get everything to do what it is that we want it to do. We're really confident that this go around, we're just going to continue to improve our products. And we're also working on a third flavor right now. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. We'll keep you guys posted. And as always, I appreciate each and every single one of you guys from, my whole heart, because without you guys, it wouldn't be possible. And I'm super grateful to be living the life that I'm living and being able to do what it is that I love on a daily basis. And it's because of amazing people like you who support what it is that we do here at RAVER AIDE. So without further ado, guys, my name is Tyler Hardy, and I hope you guys have an amazing day, and be sure to integrate what it is that feels true to you. We'll talk soon.